Ever feel like you're just drowning in information? Like articles and reports and opinions coming at you a million miles an hour?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, get ready, because today we're talking information synthesis. It's like having a secret weapon to cut through all that noise.
It's like a mental framework you can use to really zero in on what matters.
And to help us unpack this, we're diving into an article by a business strategist, Dr. Jareau Almeyda.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's called In the Huddle, The Strategic Impact of Information Synthesis. And what's really cool is he uses this unexpected analogy, something you might not expect from a business pro.
What's that?
He compares information synthesis to what NFL quarterbacks do on the field.
Oh, I like where this is going. It's true, though. Those guys have to process so much so fast.
Okay, so let's break it down. We've got someone like Brock Purdy.
Oh, yeah. Purdy's a great example.
Right. So how is he using information synthesis during a game?
Well, think about it. He steps up to the line, and in just a few seconds, he's got to take in the whole defense.
It's like a super-powered version of Where's Waldo, except the stakes are way higher.
Exactly. And it's not just about seeing where the players are. He's got to analyze the defensive formation. Is it a 4-3, a 3-4? Are they bringing pressure?
And he's got to do all of that, like, instantaneously.
Exactly. That's why this whole information synthesis thing is so key. It's about processing, not just absorbing.
So is that kind of like the first step in the process? Dr. Almeyda talks about these 5 key steps, right?
He does. It all starts with gather. That's Purdy, scanning the field, taking it all in.
Okay, so that's gather. But it's more than just seeing, right? He's not just taking a snapshot. He's processing all that visual data.
You got it. That's where analyze comes in. Purdy's looking at things like how deep are the linebackers, where the safeties lined up. He's looking for any little clue that might give him an edge.
It's like he's got X-ray vision or something, seeing right through the defense.
Right. And all of that analysis, that's what lets him anticipate what the defense is going to do.
Which leads us to
Integrate. This is where he combines everything he's seeing with what he already knows.
So he's bringing in his knowledge of the other team's playbook, his own team's strengths and weaknesses.
All of it. He's creating this mental model of the entire situation.
Wow. It's amazing how much is going on in his head in such a short amount of time.
It really is. And we're only at step 3. We still have interpret and communicate to go.
Oh, man. And to think, some people can barely decide what to have for breakfast in the morning.
You're telling me.
So he's got this whole mental model in place. What happens next?
That's where the real magic happens. It's interpret. This is where Purdy takes all that raw data, all those observations, and starts to see the bigger picture.
So it's like those crime dramas where they pin up all the evidence on a big board and the detective starts connecting the dots.
Exactly. Suddenly, Purdy's not just seeing individual players. He's seeing the whole play unfold before it even happens.
So he's like a chess master, thinking several moves ahead.
Exactly. He's anticipating the blitz, or maybe he sees a weakness in the coverage. And that brings us to the final step. Communicate.
Which is where it all comes together on the field.
Right. Purdy's got all this insight, but it's useless if he keeps it to himself.
He's got to call the play.
Exactly. He's got to communicate all those insights to his team, adjust the blocking scheme, change the route, whatever it takes.
And just like that, all that information synthesis turns into action.
And hopefully, a touchdown.
Let's take a quick break. Want to equip your child with the skills of top global consultants? Don't let them fall behind. Raising Tomorrow's Leaders, The Consultant's Mindset by Dr. Jareau Almeyda is your guide to fostering essential skills in your children for their lifelong success. Available now on Amazon. Okay, welcome back.
But here's the thing. This isn't just about football.
Right. This is something we can all use in our own lives.
Absolutely. Think about being at work. You've got deadlines, different opinions flying around, maybe some conflicting data.
Ugh, tell me about it. It's easy to get totally overwhelmed.
Right. But that's where information synthesis can be a lifesaver. You gather all the relevant info, you analyze it, you integrate it with what you already know about your team and your goals.
So it's like having a roadmap to navigate all those complex situations.
Exactly. And then you interpret what it all means, you look for those aha moments, and finally, you communicate a clear plan of action.
So we're all quarterbacks in a way, just trying to call the right plays in our own lives. It's like we're all calling the plays in our own personal huddle.
I like that. And just like in football, those calls, those decisions, they lead to real-world results.
So we're not just talking about like understanding data here. It's about using it to make stuff happen.
Exactly. It's about moving from feeling overwhelmed to feeling empowered. Like you said, it's about taking control, calling the right place.
So this mental framework we keep talking about, it's not just for like CEOs and rocket scientists.
Not at all. It can help with everyday stuff, too. Let's say you're planning a vacation, right?
Everyone loves a good vacation.
Exactly. But planning one, that can be overwhelming. You've got a million websites, reviews, options.
And don't even get me started on trying to find a good deal on flights. It's like a whole other job.
Right. But think about information synthesis, like having your own personal travel agent in your brain.
So instead of getting lost in a sea of hotel reviews, I can use this to actually plan a trip I'll enjoy.
Exactly. You gather all the info, you analyze it, you figure out what matters most to you.
It's like I'm creating my own custom travel guide, tailored to what I want to see and do.
There you go. And that's the beauty of this. It's not about following some rigid formula. It's about adapting to the situation.
So whether I'm trying to decide on a vacation destination or, I don't know, make sense of a complicated news story.
It's all connected. Information synthesis can help you cut through the noise and get to what matters.
Yeah.
And the more you use it, the easier it gets.
It's like a mental muscle you got to keep working out. Speaking of, have you had any times where this whole process just clicked for you?
Oh, definitely. Just the other day, I was researching something totally new. And at first, it was just a jumble of information. But then I started using these steps: gather, analyze, integrate. And then, boom, it's like the fog lifted, and I can see everything so clearly.
It's those aha moments that make it all worthwhile.
Absolutely. That feeling of clarity, of understanding, that's what it's all about.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into the fascinating world of information synthesis.
And remember, everyone, it doesn't matter if you're a CEO, a quarterback, or just trying to navigate your everyday life.
You've got the power to cut through all the clutter and become a master of information.
Just remember those 5 key steps, look for those aha moments, and don't be afraid to call an audible when you need to.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for joining us.